Today we're going into a Facebook ads beginner strategy for e-commerce in 2020, full course, step by step. Let's go. Hey everyone, it's Ricky Hayes here. Pleasure to have you on the channel. Before we get into today's updated course for 2020, be sure to like my video for today so that helps with the growth of my channel. I appreciate that. Subscribe if you want more value and check out my channel for even more videos, over 150 videos all there. Today's slides as well will all be in the description that you can use and download 100% for free. Okay guys, that is 100% yours. Without further ado, let's get straight into the content. Hey guys, what's going on? I just wanted to quickly jump into one of the ad accounts. This is not my store, this is a client store, but the exact same process applies, okay? And I wanted to show you that this is something that anyone can do. You can see that we're looking here at April 2020, today's date, the 14th, the 13th, you know, like I think yesterday was not a great day. Still not bad as a whole with the ROAS, but actually pretty good. But you can see what I wanted to show you was that last 14 days, or this month, sorry, just to make sure, this month, as you can see here, you know, 12,000, this is in US, please keep that in mind, 12,800 for 94,000 or whatever back. So you can see great results, and this is a bit more of a higher ticket store, so the margins are a bit different, but overall it's doing extremely well. And we're consistently improving it, and this is what I'll be teaching you in today's video. Exactly the type of strategy that's employed here that you can put in place for your e-commerce business to really kick it off and become successful in that space as well. If you want a bit more of a case study, okay, just comment that down below. But I just wanted to show you that anyone can do this, even in the midst of the virus outbreak. There's a lot of opportunity, okay? You just have to go that extra mile for great customer service and make sure that your fulfillment processing is fine. So if anyone has concerns about that, please don't be concerned. There is going to be issues, okay, but there with times like this, there's also plenty of opportunity. It's just how you handle it that's a really important element, okay? I've always said and will always say that the key to success in any business is a great product with great service, okay? You need to provide great service, okay? And part of that is great shipping, updates, and just listening and responding to your customers. So please, for anyone that's worried about that, because I had a number of people message me about that, don't be. As I said, just treat people like a normal human being with respect, in an honest way, and people will reciprocate that for you, okay? So do not be worried by that. Make sure your customers come first. It'll always bite you in the bum if you try and put yourself first over the customer, because the customer wins, all right? So I just wanted to outline that. I won't waste more of your time. Let's actually get into the step-by-step strategy. All right, lovely. So again, the slides are here. I've just made a nice little slideshow for you to try and help. So step number one is understanding Facebook ads. Okay, so we have to start here. If you already understand Facebook ads pretty well, I know a number of you do, you can skip over this, but it's important anyway for those who don't. So it's a very simple marketing platform compared to many others, okay? And I say that as someone that's very experienced across Facebook, Google, Pinterest, YouTube, Bing, just to name a few, and even Snapchat as well. It is a very simple platform when you get down to the core of it. For e-commerce, you always want to go for purchases, not engagement. I notice there's a lot of channels and a lot of different strategies that focus on engagement, and yeah, they have their valid points. Every strategy does. However, I've consistently gone straight for my end goal, which is purchase, and Facebook has attributed and gone out for that, okay? And there's more than enough opportunity out there to get people purchase, okay? It might be more expensive, but that's what happens when you're trying to get someone to pull out their wallet rather than comment on one of your videos. It's important to understand that Facebook is mainly a video-centric platform, but you should consider images as well. One of my students who was scaling a product up to about 6K days, he was advising me that he was split testing with some new ads, and one of those was an image ad as an example, and it was actually outperforming the video ad, okay? Sometimes images, as long as the image really gets the point across, okay, can actually do really well. Great examples of that would be the jewelry niche. Jewelry niche, you can just get away with an image, okay, or fashion a lot of the times, because what you see is what you get, okay? It's just the sizing of the item, but what you see is what you get. Okay, so it's important you sort of try and understand that as well. Many people say that you should never test video, but I beg to differ. Image does do very well. Mainly do video, but always try an image is my recommendation. Facebook always works best when you're doing a single product. Okay, so I see many people do a lot of add to a collection with Facebook. That doesn't really work that way. You want to control where the customer's going and their journey. Hence why we're in the day and age now of funnels. The more you control the journey, the better the outcome you're always going to get. Okay, so always send them straight to a landing page. When I say landing page, it doesn't have to be let's say like ClickFunnels as an example. It can just be literally a Shopify landing page done quite well. And again, you can use free theme like Beautify for that, which does 95% of what you need for you. Okay, important notes I just wanted to add here for those who aren't aware. You need a Facebook Business Manager. So that's basically where you run your ads. You can run them under a page, but you don't get the analytics, and it's not how you should set up your ads. So you can make a business manager there. There's the link. You need a Facebook business page as well. There's a link there, and an Instagram business page. Okay, so all of those links, just go there and you can register. It's all free, very straightforward. Facebook guide you through it. And this is going to annoy some people, but I do at least recommend $100 budget for Facebook ads, and that is being conservative. Personally, to a lot of people, I suggest $500 to $1,000. But I know a lot of people that's easier said than done. So $100 would be the bare minimum. Okay, I'm sorry, but you can't start marketing nowadays with a $5-10 budget as a whole. It just is not viable anymore. This is too competitive of a market, and we have to be realistic about that you need probably at least $100 bare minimum for that. Okay, so that's step number one. Step number two is starting strategy with Facebook. Okay, so let's have a discussion about that. So I personally always start out CBO. Again, I know a number of people still do ABO, which stands for ad set budget optimization. I do CBO, campaign-based optimization. It has its flaws, but there's ways around it, and I find long term it does much better. So that's generally how I do it in the short, medium, and long term. Always optimize for purchase. Okay, so as I said in the last one, optimize for purchase. We'll go into the ads manager in a moment, and I'll just sort of give you a rundown of this as well to actually visually show you a bit more about that as well. Always remove desktop from your placements. For e-commerce, it doesn't work well. Okay, just in my experience, you can get a higher click-through rate, but you can get a much higher cost per click. Personally, I just don't really market to desktop. 90%-ish, at least of your sales through Facebook anyway, will come through mobile. So I just exclude desktop. I always optimize for 7 days, 1 day click now. So that I actually find does better. The conversion windows I'll show you in a moment do help a lot with that. Now, one of the things that a lot of people ask me is what countries you should market to. There's a lot of discussion about what countries should that be? Should I just do all e-packet countries? Should I do worldwide? I don't recommend any of that. You're going to spread your budget too thin, especially if you're on a small budget. It is more expensive to market to United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and United Kingdom. However, we're the ones with the biggest pockets. Okay, we're the ones that do buy the most online. We have the highest GDP. And that's why I recommend doing that. And between the 5 of those countries, we're talking 100 over. I think it would be at least 400-500 million people. Okay, that is a lot of people. You're never going to run short of customers. All right, so don't be worried by that. I know a lot of people get worried about that. Please don't. If you have a good product and you have a good offer, it will always convert. Then you just need a strategy to make it profitable. Understanding demographics. Now, as I said, if you're on a very limited budget, most people find this stuff somewhat boring, but it's really important. If you can find out from your competitors what is already working for them, then you are essentially saving money. You're inadvertently saving money. Okay, so have a look at that video. That's another video on my YouTube channel where I talk about some winning products and teach you about how to determine the demographics of their audience and actually utilize that to your advantage. It can save you hundreds of dollars and days of testing, which is huge. For an extra 20 minutes of your time, I seriously recommend that you start abiding by that. Within my CBO, I always test at least 5 audiences, and now I do $25. I used to do 50. I actually find fewer audiences in a CBO works better than 10 audiences in double the budget. Facebook just doesn't delegate properly, even with automated rules, which I'll get to later. But I find at $25 with 5 ad sets, every ad set is worth the equivalent of $5 in its own campaign as CBO, works very well. And I personally go audience sizes that are over 2 million. Okay, I don't have an actual cap anymore. I found that Facebook is just so smart that I don't even care. I actually just aim for large audiences. Okay, I'm actually going to show you now how you can actually put this together. All right, lovely. So I'm just in one of my old ad accounts. As you can see, it's been disabled, I don't know, from ages ago. So what we do is you go create. This is in a Facebook Business Manager as well. So in the past step, you will have made your Business Manager. Now we're in the Business Manager. So we give it a campaign name. So I personally just call it CBO product name, whatever that is. Okay. You go campaign objective conversions, because we want to convert people on our site. I personally do CBO, campaign-based optimization. I do $25. Okay, I give it a number, and I just give that a number because I'm saving it as a draft. Okay, you'll find that this saves you a lot of time. So then it comes up with this screen, sort of as a brief overview. You can ignore that. If we go to the next screen, we're now in the ad set level. So now what we're looking at here is where we actually apply the ad set settings, who, where, what we target. Okay, so I don't have a pixel, but you should have a pixel. One thing I do here as a little tip is I do interests as a variable, and this will make sense in a moment. So dynamic creatives actually work quite well as well for those wondering, a bit more advanced. Offer, I'd leave that. So I haven't really tested that, if I'm honest. Always set your ad sets for the next business day, or next day, sorry, at midnight. That's how I've always done it, and will always do it. You choose your target countries. Okay, so we choose people who are living in this location because they're more likely to convert. So we put Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, United States, and New Zealand. Generally, I'll admit that you'll find that United States followed by Australia, followed United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, in that order, are generally the countries that convert best, with Facebook ads, that is. So you've got your ages. So if you watch that other video to learn demographics, you might be able to say, oh, maybe 45 plus, okay, hypothetically. We're going to leave it as is for now. We've got 320 million people, okay, it's a huge amount of people. So, you know, you're not going to be short of customers. Always untick this little stupid box. I'm not even going to explain it, it's stupid. Go English, English all, and we're going to put our targeting. So this is where I was saying 2 million plus. Okay, so back here, audiences are 2 million plus. So let's say that this was a dog item. I would put in dog, and maybe I just put in dogs. There we go. I got 130 million people audience. Now, some might call me crazy that's ridiculous, but I would actually do it. Okay, I have no problems marketing to that audience. Why? That's simply because my reach is limited by my budget anyway. So I could only target 1,000 of those people. Facebook, as long as I'm telling them that I want people who are going to buy, who are going to purchase, then all I need to tell them is sort of who is the customer, what are their ages, what is their gender, what language do they speak, what interests are they in. Whether you know it or not, we're actually narrowing that down. Now we take out desktop, so literally just untick that, and then I'll leave it as automatic placements. Personally, I find that stories is starting to do well. Instagram stories primarily, as well as for those a bit more advanced, the audience network also can do quite well. I leave these, I don't really touch them. 7 days after clicking, 1 day view. Okay, so that's what I set, and that's actually the default now. Facebook actually do recommend it, and I'll be honest, it's one of the few things that they actually recommend that actually works. Okay, so now that we've done that, what we can do is we can go back and we can click this little cog again and see if we go rename. It'll pick up the interest that we've put in, and it keeps it nice and clean and crisp. I love nice, clean, crisp. And that's how you set up your ad set. Okay, so that is how I set up the ad set. I'll go a bit more into making the actual ad, what the customer sees, in a moment, but that's pretty much how you set it up. To make 5 ad sets, you just duplicate it, and we want to choose 4 times because we want a total of 5 because we've already got one. Okay, and then all we do when it loads, I don't know why Facebook does this. Yeah, amazing. It does that quite a bit. Yeah, okay. So it's bugging out. But normally when you duplicate it, you can then duplicate it and then you go into each individual ad set and then you can change the audience, okay? Because in the beginning, you're trying to test what audience does better. Okay, we're keeping the countries the same, we're keeping the genders the same, we're keeping the ages the same. We're trying to see what audience does better. So maybe it's dogs, maybe it's pooches as an audience, maybe it's some dog movie, maybe it's some animal magazine. Okay, you don't know. You're always hunting for that next audience that's going to start really bringing you in the sales and that money. Okay, so that's how we set up the ad set. Okay, and you can just use the slides to help you with that. Let's move on to the next step. Right, step number 3 is confirming a winner with Facebook. Now, I'll get a bit more into the ad and we'll talk about that more soon. But if you want an updated version of how to make a high converting video for Facebook, comment that down below as well. So I want to talk about this very detailed because this is where I know most people get very confused, lost, and don't know what to do basically. So most confirm a winner is just getting sales. I don't. Okay. To me, the definition of a winner is something that I'm actually making money from at the end of the day. But let me break it down a little bit more for you. Step 1 is to understand what's called CPC. I'll get into these metrics a bit more. CPC, cost per click, CTR, click-through rate, ATC, add to cart, purchase. Okay, so those are the starting points are really important. So you want to get as cheap cost per click. So, you know, of 100 people, you might get 5 clicks and they might be 50 cents each, cost you $2, 50 cents each for those clicks. Your CTR would be 5% because your click-through rate, it divides it out of 100. So if 100 people saw your ad and 5 people clicked, get a click-through rate of that. If one of those 5 people added to cart, well then you'll have one of those people adding to cart. So you have a 20% add to cart ratio, which is pretty good actually. And then obviously your purchase. I look at those in the beginning. I don't look at return on ad spend because in the beginning, you're never really going to just be making money straight out the bat. 3, 4, 5 years ago, yeah, because Facebook was easy back then, but now it's not. You have to spend money, and that's why I said at least $100. So step 2 is to optimize after spending $50. Okay, so $50 to a lot of people sounds like a lot. It's not. I'm sorry. Of data and killing underperforming ad sets. So if you're running 2 campaigns with 10 ad sets as CBO, then you'll be killing off the bad audiences. Remember how we're testing a number of different audiences? We find the ones that aren't working well, and then we keep the ones that are based on click-through rate, CPC, purchases, so on and so forth. Step 3 is to cut out the bad areas in this order. So if you're marketing to multiple countries, which is part of my strategy, then the biggest part of an audience is always the country, okay? Because you're encompassing all the ages, genders, so on and so forth. So cut out the country, then gender, then age and placement. That part is very tricky for most people. You have to look at the data and really understand it. That's just a skill you're going to have to learn over time. But that's how, what I'll do is I'll spend $50 and be like, okay, I may not have gotten many sales, may not have gotten a sale at all, but what can I derive from this that I can actually say is looking positive? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to frame you in, is that people will test the product for 2 days, doesn't get a sale, and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. In actual fact, it probably will. You're just spending money across so many areas that overall you're spending a large pool of money, that $50, but actually individually in a lot of sub areas, you're not spending much at all, and you'll usually find a lot of gold mines in that area. So step number 4 is to duplicate your ad sets with these changes and relaunch them. So if you've killed off some of the bad ad sets, you found that UK is a bad country, you found that Australia is a bad country, cut them out. There you go. And you might find that women might be a bad demographic, gender for your product. Okay, and there you go. You've gone from 130 million people, let's say, to maybe 40, 50 million. Doesn't sound like much, but it starts to cut it down. You're targeting your ideal customer, and you might have to go through that a couple of times. But you will start to tell Facebook where your audience is, okay? Remember, Facebook is a machine. It's not going to get it perfect straight off the bat. We're talking humans here, okay? We're gray, okay? And software is black and white. So, and then overall step number 2 is once you get sales, you still don't have a winner. You need to follow this process. So let's say you get 3 sales to show that it is no fluke, okay? So 1 sale is a fluke, 2 sales is okay, 3 sales is, there's clearly market interest. Okay, step number 2 is add more audiences to get more sales. Okay, so now you know that your product, your offer is actually good. Now you want to try and start getting consistent sales. Again, you may not be profitable at this point. Okay, you may not be profitable at this point. You know, to start a business for a couple $100 to me is still mind-blowingly cheap. And so you start trying to test more audiences, and you repeat step 1. Okay, and you start to try and find where your audience like, more audiences, what country, what ages, and then you'll start to find that it'll be more consistent. Step number 3 is to use that data. Okay, so if you start finding that it's all UK, why would I be marketing to every other country consistently when I know that they're not going to perform? I would just make it purely UK for new ad sets, therefore saving you money and getting you results much, much better and much sooner. Step number 4 is to aim for consistent sales. Okay, so consistent sales, I try and aim at least 3 a day. Again, 1 is a fluke, 2 is okay, 3 is something's working. So you're trying to get 3 sales a day because then you know your offer is consistently working. And again, you still may be unprofitable. Okay, you may be unprofitable at this point as well. But then step number 5 is to get those sales consistent with profit every day, and that's when you have a real winner. Okay. A real winner is actually something to me that actually makes me money at the end of the day. Okay, I need to recuperate my losses and start making money consistently. I can't just get a few sales and say I'm on to a winner. I need to get that consistently with money in my back pocket. I need to justify my time, I need to pay my taxes, and I need to pay my expenses. So that is the overall why I wanted to talk about that very in depth. Confirming what a real winner is, and that's sort of how I apply it. I keep it like that, and I find that 95% of the time that I'm onto a winner, because if you watch my other videos in my channel, I talk very much about research. Okay, if you do a lot of research, you find a good product, you make a good high converting video, then you've done 80-90% of the work. Now you're just trying to find where your audience is, where they buy, what ages they are, so on and so forth. And that requires a bit of monetary commitment. And once you have that data, then you can just utilize it to your advantage. So hence why I say it in that way. It takes time, but it's still the best way about going about it. And that's how I sort of generally recommend it. So that's step number 3. Let's move on to the next step. Step number 4 is soft scaling with Facebook ads. So I don't aggressively scale when I do Facebook ads. I do, obviously, but I start as a soft scaling. So I confirm I've got a winner, and then I sort of soft scale it, and then I'll hard scale it, is basically, or heavy scale it, basically, and that's the next step. But scaling with Facebook ads is not as easy as most say. Okay, starting out with Facebook ads is actually pretty easy. That's why everyone does it, because it's quick, it's easy. But anyone that'll tell you once you start scaling with Facebook ads is it actually becomes very complex. You know, it becomes very, very difficult in terms of overall management. As easy as people generally tend to make it, and there are some that do extremely well with it, of course, it actually is very difficult. And when you're on a conservative budget, that's where you use the soft scaling process. So I never aggressively scale. Some products are not scalable, believe it or not. Some that might get consistent sales, but you can't scale them because you're not making profit. You're just churning money. I've had to do that many times where I've been like, I've got a product that is a great product, but I just can't get profit at the end of the day. and I'm not going to bankroll myself for my whole life. So things like the profit margin might have a $10 profit margin, so you might be getting $9. Then after all your expenses, you're actually losing money. Okay, saturation, that happens. Okay, people will start to steal your product, steal everything. There's a million product research tools out there now that are all promoting your product in their tool. 1,000 people will start marketing the same product to the same audience. Okay, that happens. Market interest, overlap. Audience size, overlap. Okay, so these are all things you need to be mindful of. To circumvent this, and part of the soft scaling is you consistently create new interest every day. Interests or lookalikes. I'm not going to get into lookalikes today, right now. And every day to find new people. I might, if I'm scaling, I might do another 50 new audiences. There is tons of audiences, in fact, an unlimited amount. And you just need to keep testing them. Okay, you're gonna lose money, but you'll make it back with the audiences that you find that are new gold mines. All right, so I would recommend at least 5 new audiences a day, and keep growing it, and growing it. You also do this by introducing remarketing. So this is an important part. So I go view content 30 days with a 10% discount, excluding people who have purchased. Okay, so I'm starting to try and now get people who showed interest back to my website and pulling out his or her wallet or purse. I do video view, people who have watched my video. If you don't have a video, you can't do that, but if you did, most of us do. 95% people who have watched 95% of my 45-second video. Clearly shown some interest, but may not have clicked my ad. Something may have happened, who knows? And I exclude view content, so they are purely people who have watched my video, not gone to my site, and in the last 30 days, no discount. I'm just reminding them to come back and buy, or reminding them to have a look at my offer, because what these first two do is they basically build a bit of a sequential funnel. So if they get the video view and then they go to your website, then they're going to be in the view content audience. Then they're going to be remarketed with a discount. Okay, so we're getting them to our website, then we're giving them a discount if they still haven't bought. So there's 3 interactions, including our cold traffic ad. Okay, so 3 times that they've seen us. You want to set the budget to 10% of what your cold traffic budget is. So as an example, spending $50 a day, you want it to start at $5 a day. And if it's doing well, then you increase it to 20%. So we go to $10 a day, so on and so forth. I don't really go past 20-25% max, or I try to not, because it's a tiny audience compared to a cold traffic audience. So they work in harmony, and so I find about 20% at higher levels is that sweet spot, that you wouldn't want to go too much higher than that. You'll end up probably just wasting money, and I see that consistently. So that's just a pro tip. Once I've done that, I will begin the next step of heavy scaling. Okay, so this is where I'm really trying to push my product to that next level. So let's just jump straight into that. Step number 5. Firstly, to heavily scale, you need to have, I just want to add this in, you need to have back-end apps set up. Okay, you need to make sure that you have great customer support. You need to make sure you have apps in place that are capturing data, that are remarketing to people. Okay, as I said, great customer service, especially in this time. Customer support is key. Okay, people are very anxious about buying things, where they're from, what their timeframes are, various things like that. Trust me, when you start to grow your business and you see that, you will thank me for being preemptive about that. I've had that 1,000 times. Every single time I tell people, most people don't listen until it starts to blow up in their face. Don't be one of those. Fulfillment, okay? That's a part of customer service. Make sure that you can fulfill your products. Okay, I have videos on that in my channel as well. Interested, make sure you comment these down below so I know what people want. Cash flow, you need cash flow. If you have $500 and you're spending it all on ads, but you can't fulfill your product, you're going to have a fulfillment problem. Okay, manage cash flow. It's part of business, it's reality. Otherwise your business will flop faster than you can imagine. And I cannot stress how important these are. These are linchpins to the success of your business. And I'm sorry to say that if you don't take those serious, they will bite you in the bum 10 times more than if you would have taken that serious. Okay, so that's why I say to people, have $1,000, because you might only spend $300 on ads and start growing your business, but you need to be able to at least pay for your product to send it to the customer. Otherwise, you can't even fulfill what you're saying that you're offering them. So please be mindful of that. I've seen so many people get a few sales on like $30 and like, oh, I can't buy the product. What do? Oh, I just won't send it to the customer. That's totally not how you build a business. So don't do that. Then you need to create automated rules to manage your ad sets. I've had huge arguments and discussions, all the same, about people saying that automated rules are just not necessary. They are. And I cannot stress that enough. As someone that has an IT background in automation, and that you need rules for Facebook if you want to scale. You need something that is working around the clock, ideally, to help manage it. Or you need someone to be managing it for you. Okay, but I use rules because rules are more consistent than humans. If you're spending $500 a day, you need to be careful, because you think, oh, $500 yesterday. I spent $500 for $1,500 back. Oh, this is easy. And then the next day, so I spent $500 for $400 return. Oh, I've actually lost money in these 2 days. And that's because you didn't have rules that said, all right, well, yesterday you did well, but what's it looking like today? What's the playing field? Now, what you need to understand why that's important, and why one day compared to the next does well, or even by the hour. Anyone, including myself, that has done Facebook ads at a high level will tell you that you might have like 2 hours where it's like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. The next 2 hours it'll be dead, 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 dead. Okay? And that's the exact same on a daily basis. That you don't know that maybe in the United States might be a public holiday weekend. The day that you started marketing, they might have been in a buying frenzy. The next day, they might be a family day where they're not even using their phone. Okay, there is a lot of external elements that come to marketing that you have no control over. There's no point trying to worry about it. So what you do is you use something to mitigate that. Automated rules. Okay, and it's really important you understand that. I speak about that very deeply in my courses, and to me it's the key. I use Magix, and I'll show you that after this slide. Magix.com. It's not cheap software, but hell, it's made me a lot more money than it's cost me, and it saved me a lot of time. I like having time, and I'm willing to pay for it. Okay, my Magix cost me over $1,500 a month. I pay for that software just for that, and trust me, I know that I get that return on investment by time, consistency, and growth. But it has much cheaper plans, of course, as well. I wouldn't recommend a tool that straight up the bat costs that. Not many people can afford that straight out the gate. Okay, so I just like to be very honest with that. That's the tool I use. Not many people know about it. Most people know about the other one. I forgot what it is, but I prefer Magix. Reason mainly being it has automated rules, it has custom rules, it has a really nice graphical interface, integrates with Google Ads. You can make a heap of different lookalikes that you can't normally make on Facebook, retargeting campaigns, retention, which is basically just returning customers. It can tell you what your best ad copy is, what your best creative is. It also helps with other areas, recommend doing automated manual bidding as well, which I'll get to in a moment. So that's just why I recommend that. If you guys, I don't want to get too much into that today. If you are interested more in Magix, comment that below. I'll make a video on that. It's an amazing tool. I love really cool tools like that. And to me, I've spent thousands on it, and it's been worth every penny. I then begin making more campaigns every day. So instead of making 1 or 2, I might make 10. I'm not joking, I will do that, or I'll get one of my staff to do that for me. Combination of lookalikes, interests, testing different ads, testing different offers. You always want to be doing that, because I know that 60, 70, 80% of them are not going to do well, but the 20% that will, I can grow them and stabilize and consistently grow my business. That's just the ecosystem of Facebook. I also test new ads. So I test at least 2 ads a week, probably 2 to 3, maybe 4. You always want to test them, as I said, because it will quickly become saturated. We all know the products that have millions of views. They're in every product research video. They're in every winning product release video. All these tools, okay, they're not hard to come across. So what do you think happens? Everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie. As a result, your piece of the pie just becomes smaller and smaller. The way to circumvent that is by trying to make more ads that market to them in a different fashion, okay? All right, that's why we see many products that have trended up, died out. We see them trend up again because they are a great product, just offered in a different way. So you really need to focus on that offer. And that's why I talk about high converting videos so much. It was something that I neglected for a period of time myself, admittedly. But now I really, I've fully embraced that as the key. And so like I have a video editor, I have scripts, I do all of that, I outsource in that. There's plenty of options out there. You're not short of those options. You just need to take that advice seriously. I personally test a lot of bidding strategies. Okay, so known as manual bidding by a term known as the greater community, just a bid strategy, bid cap, cost cap, and value. Value is not something most of you will see on small ad accounts. It's something you need to get a seasoned pixel for. Okay, so most of you will be running auto bids, which is highest value, lowest cost. So I test that. I personally find that cost cap generally does best for me. So I could set my cost cap at $40 as a manual bid, and it may get a cost cap of $20. Okay, manual bidding is one of the keys also to really scaling your best audiences. All right, and it's something that you'll find really can grow your business. I've had some of these at a single audience at $5,000 a day. Okay, and it was actually one of my most profitable audiences in that day, as an example. And I've seen that many a times from other people as well. Manual bidding is very important. It's also what Magix helps do, save time in that too. I really, really like that tool. I like tools. So I test more remarketing as well. As you scale, you need to do more remarketing. You need to test different offers. You're going to have more budget, okay? Because we're sticking at 20%. So I might be spending $1,000 a day. Now we've got spending $200 on top of that just for remarketing. So you do things like add to cart, initiate checkout, video view. If you want more breakdowns on this type of thing, comment that down below. More than happy to make actual videos sort of around that overall strategy as well. I want to keep this to more front-end strategy. You got page engagement. So if you've got a large page like an Instagram page, Facebook page, remarket to them. Those people have shown interest in your business. There's no reason why you shouldn't try and market to them. Time spent on site to aggressively get people to come back. Okay, so you want to try all these different audiences and try and consistently market to these audiences, because they're people that have shown interest. They just haven't gone the full way. So remarket them. And then number 7 is just repeat steps 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, repeat 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so that's step number 5. So that overall should give you a bit of an idea how to do Facebook ads and the strategy that's a bit more down below, and how you can sort of go about doing it and how you can sort of get started a bit more consistently with something that's more updated. So I hope that was helpful anyway. Tried to keep it beginner friendly, but also give you really good advice that's practical. This is pretty much the strategy that I consistently use, give or take, but this is a strategy that I find works quite well. I'm very confident in this strategy. It's very consistent, and it works well. All right, so that's just my take on it, but that's step number 5. All right, cool. So that's the end of today's video, guys. I hope you did enjoy that. If you did, please be sure to like today's video, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you like today's video, any other videos you would sort of like to see. I always like to give a number of ideas throughout it so I can see what the community wants. On top of that as well, obviously, I like to give my links and that to help people out. Most of these are free. Most people already know I've got my YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Google ads course. People have been really enjoying that. I'm glad I've done that. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. Like there's issues there that I need to fix, just in terms of little things to make the user experience better. But thank you to everyone who has already jumped on board and given valuable feedback. Valuable feedback is very important, and I plan to keep improving all of those. So you can try Debutify there, 100% free. That was a theme I mentioned before. It's a free theme. You can try it. Okay. I'm also doing a free live webinar training, so you can check that out there. I love doing webinars. I love teaching people. It's just fun for me and very rewarding, but also something that I just want to do. It's a new skill for me, and I can pass on skills to others at the same time. So you can register there. It's free. All right. All you have to do is enter your email, name and email, get a link, away you go. Free product winning cheat sheet. A lot of people asked for that again, so that's there. You got the referral link for Day Beautify, and then a number of other links. I recommend the other thing I just want to add here is the Discord channel. I've always wanted to have a Discord channel for these things, so have a look at that Discord channel. You're going to absolutely love it. And then lastly as well, because I just like to do that, if you want more info on the YouTube ads course there, you got the Facebook ads and Google ads. I just actually really personally like how nice these presentations are. The person I have doing it has done a great job, so thank you for that. And I'm just really proud of how these are presented. I really just like doing these videos because it's a nice presentation to help you all. So that's all pretty much from today, guys. I hope you did enjoy today's video. I know it's a bit of a longer video, but I like to be detailed. Let me know what you guys want next. I know I've got more YouTube ads videos on the way, more Google ads videos on the way, winning product related videos on the way as well, how to set up a store, all of those ideas. I'm going to keep going through all of those to give you guys more opportunities as well. And I've also got some more exciting stuff with other people that I plan to get on the channel, which is pretty cool as well. Really, really knowledgeable and amazing entrepreneurs in their space as well. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. I'm actually looking forward to those interviews because to me, I always take something new from it myself. We're always learning, so it's actually just really exciting for me. So once again, guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video. The slides are in the description. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you take care, and goodbye.